my creative friends. My name is Shannon from shannonstudio.com. And we are here on day 343 of Creative Life Tips this year. So we talk about anything that'll help with our creativity. Hey, boyfriend. Hey, Allison. I just saw Jordan's picture on there with his mask. Allison, that was pretty funny. So today was beautiful. It was supposed to rain, but it was beautiful. We got out the bike and went to do our grocery shopping. And so it was just, I'm looking out the window. That's why I keep looking out the window. It's really pretty. He hates it. So today, one of the things I learned today was how to do a spit volcano. Joseph was teaching me how to do a spit volcano. And you know, you have to put your head back and have the spit bubble up, and I was informed I was doing it wrong because I didn't let it drip down my face like he did. So that's life with a 6-year-old. Spit volcanoes. Allison says, I'm sewing, creating while listening to you. Awesome. Yeah, you've done several quilts this summer. Like, I think you were working on 5, I think, if I remember correctly. That's awesome. I think, yeah, you're putting it into action, which actually goes along with what we're going to talk about tonight. And you didn't even peek at my notes, did you, Allison? So, one of the things that I came across, because today I was actually cleaning up my files, because I do post-it notes everywhere, and then I have to put the post-it notes in the book. Because when I'm reading something and I don't have time, because I'm actually doing something else, but then it's like, oh, that would be so good. So then I write it down, post-it note, put it in my idea book, and then it's there so I can transfer it in. But I was reading through things, and then this came up. This is a quote by Shakti Gawain from the book Creative Visualization. And she wrote the book when she was 30 years old in 1978. So it's been around a little while. And then she revised it a little bit in 2002. So the whole book is this idea of visualizing the life you want, with affirmations and visualization and grounding and energy and meditation. And so all these things to help you get in the headspace to create the life you want. But this is the quote I picked out that I really liked it. She said, visualization is great, but at some point you have to work. And is that not the truth? Allison can sit there and talk about quilting all the day long, but at some point she's got to sit down at the sewing machine. Boyfriend says, I'm just laying here like a slug. I don't even know what to say about that. So visualization is great, but at some point you have to work. Hey, Sarah. So we have to do the work. And I've talked for 343 days in a row of Creative Life Tips. And a lot of it was talking. And that's why the introduction of Creative Heartbeats Club, because we're going to actually do the work. We're actually going to take all the things we've talked about this year and then some, and translate that into doing the work of actually getting our hands busy, getting our minds busy, and moving forward. Allison says, lots of time wasting before forcing myself to sit down and sew. That is so true. Maybe I should do tomorrow's video on resistance. I'm going to write that down. It is so true. There's things we want to do, but we just fight it sometimes. And you just kind of go, oh, what is that? But it is a whole thing. Resistance is a whole big thing. I do it too. I just like... And I know I was taking this class from another gal, and she was talking that she said, I had this book proposal, Jennifer Allwood, I had this book proposal to do, she said, and or it was the last chapter, so one of those, and she said, I had just this massive amount of work to do, and I kept putting it off and putting it off. And she said, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in my closet and she says, I'm organizing my shoes. And then she sat there and she said, what am I doing? I need to get this other stuff done. But then she talked a little bit about, well, there's certain things we know how to do. And this is what I found. And things that I don't know how to do, I stall. But okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Resistance. But I just had to throw that in. Okay, doing the work. We can't say that we want to feel better or do better or be better and expect to have different outcomes. We can't, it just doesn't work that way. We can say it all we want, but it won't make the actual change. Allison says, I call that creative procrastination. Yeah, I would say that. Or creatively procrastinating is another way to look at what I do. So we can't do, feel, or be better if we're not going to put in the work. In order to do, feel, or be, we have to actually do something. In Creative Confidence, Tom Kelley says, wherever you fall on the artistic skill curve, half the battle is to resist judging yourself. If you can just grab a pen and stand up, you're halfway there. So take baby steps. And I like that idea of taking baby steps. You know, just get out the sewing machine. Just, you know, do something small. And because nobody says the progress has to be these gigantic leaps. I think we will eventually get there where we start to move faster and just like babies when they're starting to walk. It's like they fumble around, but then after a while they're running and you can't keep up with them. They're running all over the place. So nobody says your start, your first start, you're getting into the work has to be big steps. They can be small, they can be minute, they can be, you know, whatever action is action and is progress. In the book Let Me Out, he says small steps, they have to be small, they can be small, specific, and actionable. Again, it's the small. Nobody determines, I mean, you can determine how fast you want to go or how slow you want to go. Sometimes we're in certain seasons where we're so busy doing something else, you know, like back to school time is a time where everybody's busy and you're getting their last vacations and then you're doing that. Christmas time's a busy time. We don't want to make these huge things for ourselves to do. So we can back off a little bit and make small progress. And then when time and circumstances make it better, that we can make bigger steps. That is what we'll be doing in Creative Heartbeats Club. I will be taking you through with baby steps, with littler steps, like with one-page prompts. So like a one-page prompt every week. And some of them will be real simple, some of them will be a little more challenging, but the whole idea is to break it down so that it feels manageable, so it doesn't get you all over the place and worried that you can't do it. Because I take on big projects, and I like that. I like the big project. I like can I do this? This is hard. I've got a million things going. I like that, but I have also taught hundreds of women in all kinds of classes, and I know that's not the norm. Yes, I'm not normal. That is not the norm. People don't feel comfortable. That's not the kind of challenge that they want. They want smaller challenge. So I have learned over time and teaching that I can't do my approach on people and expect them to succeed. And my goal is to have people succeed and have people come out with, look what I did. You know, look what I was able to do. Because in that process, there's excitement. When you can say, look what I did, just like kids come to you 100 million times, look what I did. This is, you know, they are so excited. And then that excitement builds on itself. So then your next smaller step may be even bigger. Allison says, I remember the 4th of July float you took on. Huge project. I know it was. And actually, Rose, hey, Rose, actually that parade float was the second one. And that was so small. I did a first, well, not me by myself, but I was in charge of a float that was I think it was the semi-truck size. I'm pretty sure, like a semi-truck bed size. It was huge. It was a Noah's Ark, and it had animals, paper mache animals, and we got the Grand Marshal Award from Lavelle Edwards. Am I right, boyfriend? I think that's what we got, the Grand Marshal Award. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's why, you know, and so that smaller float was like, oh, phew, we could do this. So, yes, I do love the big project. So the small step. Let's see, in the book, I didn't write it down. Allison says, holy cow. It was holy cow, especially the time we thought it wasn't going to work out. And we had no idea. Oh, Rose says, I remember the Noah's Ark and Brian behind it. Yes, Brian was our friend, and he had a little scooter. He had cerebral palsy. And anyway, so he had this little scooter, and then we built a whale to go over the top of the scooter. And so the whale followed Noah's Ark. And actually our friend Travis drove it. And, you know, not having done something before, like I'd never put something over. I think this was Travis's idea, actually. I'd never put anything over a car like that, like a motorized thing to go. So I didn't know the exhaust, you know, I didn't take into account the exhaust. So he said when he was in there, he was like getting asphyxiated by the exhaust. I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't so funny then. But he drove it all around behind the Noah's Ark. Boyfriend says, Cushman 3-wheel car. Okay, that's what it was that Brian had. So, okay. Oh, this is from Twyla Thorpe. I remember I didn't write it down, but I remember her saying, okay, the first steps of creative act are like groping in the dark. Okay, just take that in for a minute. Groping in the dark. Feel it. It's uncomfortable. You don't know exactly. You're reaching out. You can't see. It's not clear. You might stub your toe, hit your head. You know, it's just that visual that she puts in there is like the first steps of a creative act are like groping in the dark. Is such a great metaphor. So then she says groping in the dark, and she explains it: random and chaotic, feverish and fearful. So that's why taking small steps in the beginning is wise to do, because it is like groping in the dark if you're not familiar with it. And then what happens is that you just don't want to, like if you're in bed and it's dark and you have to get up and go do something, then you just say, I'm not going to do it. And then you lose out on all the great benefits that creativity will give you. Boyfriend says, story of my life. Groping in the dark. Allison says, I think that's the difference between you and others. You don't know something can't be done, so you do it. The rest of us, I'm trying to get it to come up. The rest of us look at all the ways that it can't be done. That is so funny you said that, Allison, because I have had this conversation with family members on more than one occasion where I will come up with an idea, and that truly is the first conversation. All the ways it can't be done. And I think that is just, I think that's part of what creativity does. Because what it does is it opens up your mind. Some people have that naturally, and then you can learn to do that, where your mind just opens up and you see possibilities. I know it's just like with kids when they get in trouble or they want something, it's like either or. It's just like two options, yes or no. Not like there's any kind of maybes in there, or could it be done this way? So yeah, I really do think most things can be done. Should most things be done? Then that's the next question. But I think most things can be figured out how to do them. Okay, so Creative Heartbeats Club will help you go about it in baby steps. And then you can go, faster if you want later on. And in the beginning, there's going to be some foundational things that you get, and then we start to go into this other area where we're going to, you're going to pick and choose a little bit more, and see kind of directions that you want to go in. So I'm making the progress. I'm doing the things about setting it up, and we're getting closer, and I am fumbling around, groping in the dark here, excuse me, as I'm setting this process up. So it is a little chaotic and a little random and a little feverish and fearful, just like Twyla Thorpe says. But I'm going to keep pushing through, because I know, eventually we are going to figure out how to do this. Hey, Joan. Well, that is it for tonight. Remember, you have a Creative Heartbeat, so listen for it and watch for the sign up for the Creative Heartbeats Club, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.